Never scrape this off your wall. Something is waiting inside. If you find a brown lump of foam stuck to a branch, a fence, a wall, or the side of your shed, do not break it open, because that ugly little capsule may be holding an army you actually want nearby. At first, it looks dead, a hardened patch of brown foam, rough on the outside, light as dried sponge, sometimes wrapped around a twig, sometimes glued to a fence post, a garden stake, a window frame, or the underside of outdoor furniture. It does not look important. It looks like something left behind by weather, a bit of old insulation, a strange stain, a dried blob that should be scraped away before someone asks what is growing there. And that is the danger, because the thing you are about to destroy is not trash. It is a sealed nursery. But before you understand what is inside it, you need to understand the animal that built it. She is waiting somewhere nearby, or she was, before the cold took her. A praying mantis, still as a broken leaf, front legs folded like she is calm, patient, almost holy. That is the trick. Everything about her posture looks peaceful until something moves too close. Then the stillness disappears. Her front legs unfold faster than the eye wants to believe. Spiked arms close around the target. A fly, a moth, a beetle, a mosquito, a small roach, a caterpillar, anything soft enough and careless enough to enter the wrong distance. The mantis is not a gardener. She does not know she is helping you. She is a predator built around one idea: wait perfectly, then move once. That is why people notice her. That is why people film her. She looks like a tiny alien monk until the moment she becomes a trap. And for weeks or months, she may have been hunting in the exact places where insects gather around human life. Near porch lights, along fences, on plants, around doors, where small plant-eating insects move through leaves and stems before you notice them. A mantis will not solve every pest problem. She is not selective enough to be a perfect helper. She can catch useful insects too. Nature almost never gives you a clean hero. But she is still one of the most recognizable hunters living around your home. And that brown foam is how her hunting does not end with her. Near the end of her life, the female mantis does something strange. She lifts her abdomen and releases a foamy material filled with eggs. At first, it is soft, pale, and wet, like whipped air. Then it expands. It wraps around the eggs. It hardens. The outside becomes tough, weather-resistant, and brown. This is called an ootheca, but the name matters less than the function. It is not just an egg case, it is a bunker. Inside that hardened foam, dozens of tiny lives wait through heat, rain, wind, and cold. The outside looks dead because it is supposed to. It is not trying to impress you. It is trying to survive until the season changes. And if you break it open early, you are not removing a stain. You are opening a locked room before the occupants are ready. The most unsettling part is what happens when the time finally comes. On the right warm day, the brown case begins to change. Not dramatically at first, no explosion, no warning, just a thin seam, a tiny movement, then another, and suddenly, the dead-looking foam starts releasing hunters. Tiny mantises emerge one after another, thin and pale, with legs too long for their bodies and heads already shaped like the adults they will become. They do not crawl out as helpless little worms. They come out already looking like miniature versions of the animal that built the case. Small, fragile, but already mantises. Some ootheca can release dozens of nymphs. In some species, over 100 may come out from a single case. That is the part people do not understand when they crush one. They are not destroying one insect. They may be removing an entire future patrol from that yard, fence, shed, or patch of plants. 100 tiny hunters that would have scattered into the green world around them. 100 pairs of folded arms. 100 little ambushes waiting to happen. At first, they are vulnerable. Almost everything can eat them. Birds, spiders, ants, larger insects, even other mantises. Their world is dangerous from the first minute, so they spread out. One climbs a stem, One disappears under a leaf. One freezes on a fence rail. One becomes a piece of grass that is not grass. And slowly, the survivors begin doing what mantises do. They wait. This is where their usefulness begins. The same patience that makes an adult mantis so strange is already inside them. They do not chase like flies. They do not swarm like ants. They do not build like wasps. They become part of the background, and when small insects move through that background, the mantis is ready. Flies that land too close. Mosquitoes resting in the wrong place. Moths drawn to lights. Small roaches moving along edges. Soft-bodied insects feeding where leaves hide them. Caterpillars chewing quietly through the green parts people care about. The mantis does not ask which insects bother you most. It simply hunts what comes within reach. That makes it imperfect. But it also makes it valuable in the messy, crowded spaces around homes, gardens, sheds, fences, and outdoor lights, where pest insects do not arrive one species at a time. They arrive as movement, and mantises are built to punish movement. This is why the brown foam matters. It is not beautiful. It is not dramatic. It does not buzz, crawl, shine, or defend itself when you touch it. It cannot run away from your knife or your fingernail or the person cleaning the fence. It just sits there, silent and sealed, carrying the next generation of a predator most people would be excited to see after it hatches. That is the strange unfairness of it. People protect the mantis when it looks like a mantis. They destroy it when it looks like foam. But the foam is the mantis too. It is the part of her life that stays behind after she is gone. A last structure made from her body, packed with eggs, hardened against weather, waiting for a future she will never see. And that future may be useful to you. Not because mantises are gentle, not because they are innocent, because they are pressure. Pressure on the insects gathering around your lights. Pressure on the flies landing where they should not. Pressure on the small pests moving through leaves and stems while everything looks calm from a distance. So if you find one of these brown foam cases, leave it where it is if the location is safe. If it is on something that absolutely must be moved, move the object gently and keep the case outdoors, protected, and attached if possible. Do not crack it open to see what is inside. The answer is already there. Inside that ugly brown foam is not dirt, not rot, not waste. It is a sealed room full of hunters, waiting for the day the wall opens and the first tiny mantis steps out into a world that has no idea it is being watched. Subscribe to make sure you never miss the next hidden story.